Hello, this is Bianca Versolato. Who are you and what's your position?
Hi, my name is Villeneuve, and I am the Director of Protective Services and Fire Chief for the City of Clarence, Rockland.
And do you think it's important for you as director to support the MADD organization?
Definitely. As first responders and firefighters, we unfortunately see firsthand how driving under the influence impacts the victims, the drivers, their family, but also the firefighters that are impacted by those calls.
And do you have any comments that you'd like to add?
Yes, I'd like to thank MADD Canada for this opportunity to give us a voice to let everybody know that driving under the influence really impacts a lot of people, including the firefighters.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, this is Bianca Versolato, and I'm here with Valerie Keys. Could you please tell us a bit about the Mothers Against Drunk Driving organization?
Mothers Against Drunk Driving is a national organization, and I'm the president of the local chapter, the Ottawa and area chapter. Our aims are to reduce impaired driving by educating the public and target audiences, and of course of supporting victims of impaired driving.
And how can people reach out after the event?
They can find information about us on the MADD Canada website by going to the Ottawa chapter on the website, or by sending an email to us, which is madd.ottawa@outlook.com.
Thank you. And do you have any comments before we end?
Well, I think the most important point to get across to everybody is that the importance of making decisions beforehand, before going out partying, before getting involved in social activities. Impaired driving results from bad decisions. They're not accidents. These are bad judgment in action. So we ask people to think about what they're doing, to try and pay attention to what they have to do. Make arrangements, have a designated driver, take Uber, take taxis, take buses. I know it's more difficult in rural areas, but carpooling and designated drivers will be a big, big help.
Thank you. Could you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Gaëtan Gendron. I live here in Rockland. I have lived here for the last 23 years.
What does this organization mean for you?
Well, MADD, we became involved with Mothers Against Drunk Driving probably around 2003, 2004, when our son was killed in an impaired driving crash. So that's what we've been working on and off with MADD since then. We're just getting involved again now after being absent for maybe 4 or 5 years.
Thank you. And do you have any comments that you'd like to add?
Well, yeah, this time of year, it's very important that people consider really alternate modes of transportation if they're going to be going out partying. Too many people get killed. If you've been following the news, impaired driving and impaired driving deaths are on the rise. So we really would like people to really consider the options. You know, call a cab, an Uber, get a designated driver. Out here in Rockland, it's difficult with having no public transit, but you can always get a family member. I wish I had the chance to go pick up my son instead of him driving with somebody that was drunk. So think about that when you go out and drink. Make a plan to get home safely.
Thank you so much.
My name is Valerie Keys, and I'm the president of the MADD Ottawa and area chapter. On behalf of the board of directors, I'd like to welcome the members of the Ottawa and area chapter, and I would also like to note the presence of Mayor Mario Zantz and representatives of our partners from the OPP, the Rockland Fire and Paramedic Services. In addition, I welcome Jeff Leckie, who's not only past president of the Ottawa Board, but is now a member of the National Board. Thank you all for being here and for showing your support for MADD. As you are aware, the annual Red Ribbon Campaign is an important event both for MADD and for our community, not least as it gives us an opportunity to remind ourselves of why we do what we do. I'm sure you all know our aim, raising the awareness of dangers of impaired driving through education and prevention programs, and providing support to victims of impaired driving. We only need to look at the number of charges laid each and every day against impaired drivers. And unfortunately, we know that's just the tip of the iceberg. The many pictures on our memorial wall, as you see here, emphasizes the impact that impaired driving from alcohol, drugs, or both has on our families, friends, and communities. We know that impaired driving results from bad judgment and poor decision-making on the part of far too many drivers. That is what we must change in order to avoid adding more pictures to the wall. Sadly, the number of impaired driving incidents, both through drugs and alcohol, or through both, continues to increase in our community, with 8 fatalities and 7 incidents so far in Ottawa alone. That figure, unfortunately, doesn't include the incidents from across the rest of our regions, of which we know there have been far too many in the past year. That somebody can be picked up at 10 o'clock in the morning, driving at 3 times over the legal limit, is a sad reflection of the situation in which we find ourselves. The costs of impaired driving is enormous. Aside from the terrible emotional toll it takes on our families, friends, and communities, there are costs to the community in demands for increased surveillance, medical costs, court costs, support of families, and so on. Looking at one specific issue, it takes 55 blood donors to treat a single victim who has been injured seriously in any vehicle accident. Those donors are increasingly hard to find these days, which increases the challenges. Our chapter's efforts are focused on reaching as many target audiences as we can to spread our message that partying safely is what we ask for and what we expect. MADD is not a teetotal organization. Rather, we want people to think, to make good judgments, and to avoid the situations in which we see too many times. We have attended trade shows and schools in Ottawa and across our whole constituency, covering as much of Eastern Ontario as we can. We are pleased to partner regularly with our police partners in ride events in the city of Ottawa and as many of our outlying areas as we can, including Rockland. We will be partnering with OC Transpo once again on New Year's Eve for the Free Transit Initiative, an always very visible way of encouraging members of our community to plan ahead and to make safe decisions before going out partying. We will continue to support the victims of impaired driving across our whole region, not just in Ottawa, but where that support is most needed, anywhere in our vast area of influence. Most recently, members of our community have been actively lobbying politicians to bring in regulations to include mandatory impairment detection systems in all new vehicles, matching what was recently approved in the United States, where this system will be introduced starting in 2026. We will also continue to monitor any further initiatives by governments to decriminalize or legalize more drugs. The 2023 Red Ribbon Project will run through until the new year. This is an ideal time to reach our audiences, to teach, to listen, and to get the financial support we need to keep going. As with all other volunteer organizations, We have an uphill battle in bringing in funds. Clearly, every little bit will help. I therefore encourage you to take some of our red ribbons with you today, display them proudly, and reach out to as many people as you can during this festive season.
Mrs. Love, I'd like to express my deepest gratitude for your unwavering commitment to the MADD Ribbon campaign. Your dedication to raising awareness about the dangers of impaired driving during the holiday season is truly commendable. Your efforts in promoting a culture of responsible choices and safe driving have undoubtedly made a positive impact on our community. The symbolic red ribbons serve as a powerful reminder of the importance of prioritizing safety on the roads, including during the festive celebrations. And for many, wearing the red ribbon carries a personal connection, serving as a tribute to those who have been affected by impaired driving accidents. It becomes a symbol of solidarity with the mission of preventing further tragedies caused by impaired driving. And this Christmas and holiday season, choosing sobriety behind the wheel is an act of love. It is a commitment to a well-being of oneself and those sharing the road, ensuring that the journey is filled with laughter, connection, and the warmth of responsible choices. On a personal note, it's always difficult for me to talk about this, so I apologize for trying to read something, and I always tend to get emotional in a sense, because it's something so simple to do is just not to get behind the wheel when you're under the influence. Right? And we can say we used to always just say because it's Mothers Against Drinking and Driving, but now it's everything. It's prescription medication, it's cannabis, it's everywhere. And I really want to thank our first responders in the room tonight, our paramedics, our firefighters, our police officers for doing everything they do to protect our community. And, you know, we have a lot of gatherings throughout the festive season where we've had the police present to make sure that people were not leaving, whether it was big parties at a hotel or an arena, to just make sure that they weren't leaving under the influence. And sadly, even with all of the awareness that we do, even in our communities, and you'd be surprised because we all know some of them that do it. And I don't know how many people were caught, but there was a lot of them. Again, right here at home, knowing full well that they should not be driving.
My name is Dominic Laurent. I'm the operations manager for the Russell County OPP. I'm here to represent the detachment commander, Inspector José Sabourin, and all the members from the Russell County OPP. Thank you for inviting us to participate in this Red Ribbon launch today. Year after year, the OPP remains committed to taking alcohol and drug impaired drivers off our roadways through enforcement and public education. This year is no different. Our ride season is well underway. Expect to see an increased OPP presence as officers conduct ride initiatives 24 hours a day, 7 days a week throughout the province. Whether you're impaired by alcohol or drugs, impaired is impaired, and driving under the influence of either is a criminal offense. I want to remind drivers that no amount of alcohol or drugs in your system is safe when driving. In fact, if you're a young, novice, or commercial driver, under the Ontario's zero tolerance law, these driver classes cannot have any alcohol in their system. Furthermore, I want to remind or inform drivers that the mandatory alcohol screening law allows our officers to demand a roadside breath sample from any lawfully stopped driver without having reasonable suspicion that a driver is alcohol impaired. I'm also proud to report to you that one of our very own Russell County OPP officer is one of the leading member of the OPP when it comes to impaired operations charges laid throughout the province. He and his co-workers here in Rockland are a true reflection of our dedication to highway safety in Russell County. If you suspect that someone is driving while impaired by alcohol or drugs, it is important to call 911 to report it. Please do your part during this campaign by never driving after consuming alcohol or drugs, and also never letting anyone else drive if you know or suspect that they have consumed them either. Thank you for being a sober driver, and be safe this holiday season. Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys for being here and organizing this. As I said, this means a lot.
It's important.
And thank you all for being here.
Hello, this is Bianca Versolato with
Mario Zanth.
And.
Daphne Love.
Do you think it's important for people to show awareness to this cause?
Absolutely. And the surprising thing is that I think a lot of people know individuals who actually drive under the influence. And so it's incredibly important, not just during this time through the holidays, but every day of the year to show support for this cause.
Thank you. And Daphne, do you have a comment to make?
All I have to say is that one decision that killed my brother changed my family's life forever. It gave my family a lifetime of heartache, and there's no takebacks. It's not a game. There's no going back. It was forever, and if people can make the decision to find a safe ride home before they start drinking, then that could save a life.
Thank you.